How's it going, everybody? Today we're going to be going over this wood turning 3D tutorial on how to get 100%. It's not as hard as what one would think. Right now we're just going to do it with the basic tools because that's what everybody starts out with. So we don't want to go into these other custom tools that I have. I always think the best thing to do is to start by just shaving off, some of the excess wood so you know what color wood you're working with, so that way whenever you originally cut in, you don't have to worry about like nicking it or anything too crazy, because sometimes you go too deep in because the color of the wood clashes with the outer grain. I like to start with flat edges as much as possible. So as you can see, I go in here, I just, shaved off that little part, come in with the rounded edge so I can make sure that if I do hit something, it's a nice soft curve that's easily fixable. Then I just bring out and I get the basic shape of it. Once again, keeping that soft edge with the curve does just tremendous wonders to how well the project will end up in the end. Because if you go in with a sharp point, it's a lot harder to get rid of a sharp point during sanding than what it is just to get rid of an unsmooth one from a rounded edge. So as you can see here, I pretty much took it all the way up to the top there, eliminated a big chunk of it, and that's so it doesn't, have the bulkiness with it. You can see that this is a perfect angle here. They do that quite frequently, so just be able to use that when you can. Then now that that big chunk's gone, I can just bring in that and just slightly nick it, and after it's done being nicked, I have all that available room, and that little bit of extra can go away with just a little bit of sanding, so that's nothing too crazy. Come back in with the point, once again fitting that angle right in there just perfectly, and it also lines up the tip to go right down the base of it there, and you can just get a nice clean cut and still stay on the exterior of the lines. As we go further up, it'll be pretty easy to see that, you can just dive in at these angles. It doesn't look like a lot of these rounded edges have an angle, however they do, so take advantage of that because it can all go away in the next phase whenever we start sanding. So we're going to continue moving up on here. Once again, we did that rounded edge to begin with, so now we're just going to move around with this point, go back to the square edge, because we can see that there's a large surface area here that we just need to get removed, and we don't want to do that with the point, because the longer we use the point, the bigger chance we have of actually creating mistakes. I get rid of the tip there on the very top, so that it makes it a little bit easier, and come back in with the rounded edge, trying to fit right up against this. It's not as easy to fit in the tool, the sharp tool that is, so I just go ahead and start rounding off whatever I can with the exterior. And then we move further, going up. We'll make the best of it that we can. Just keep rounding that edge, and now we see that's a square right there. That was a perfect square right there, and so I rounded it in, so it just leaves that little bit of excess there so we can finish that later. And as you can see, I'm slowly bringing in the top there until it fell off, and now I'm going to try to come in with the point. Obviously the point's not going to bring it in the way I need it to, but you can get a little bit of that off. I'm just checking to see what available areas there are, so I come in with the perfect right angle there, saw off that. I'm going to go back to the point to fit in this little area here. It's really, really easy to get to. So you just dig it in there, just a tiny touch. Just be careful not to go over that line. Come over here with the rounded edge and trying to straighten up that little piece that we have there, because we don't want that looking messy. It makes it a lot harder for sanding if there's just one giant chunk. So we got the pretty good outline so far. I'm just clearing up around the edges some where I see little bits of gray that shouldn't be there. And then just go straight to the sponge. I mean, the sponge really cleans up a ton of it, helps with our sanding, makes it look really nice, smooth, gives it that perfect finish. If you don't do a lot of sanding, you will not get anywhere near as good a score, so just make sure you take your time on it. I know it's a lot slower, or a lot faster pace, I should say, than traditionally just carving. So take advantage of that time. Just go across it, get it nice and smooth. You can see I'm getting all these layers out that were there that was causing some bulkiness. Don't worry about it hurting your edges too much. That doesn't matter as much as having an overall smooth product. But do remember, you are taking stuff off, so you don't want to be too aggressive with it. As per paint, just spray it whatever way you want, as you can see I'm doing. It doesn't too much matter. This is all personal preference, and I don't consider myself to be an artist, so I just like to spray it all crazy like, pretend that I'm actually doing something, maybe the modern art style. So I'm just in here, and now that I got that, I can just scroll this off, and then I got a beautiful piece here. Nice and done. Perfect 100%. It's really easy, simplistic, and we did that all with just the base starter tools. Thanks for watching.